There you go.
Hi my friends, welcome to the kitchen. We are back for another one, but before we begin, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of our subscribers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for reaching out as well on Instagram, on Facebook, and just the amazing foodie conversations we're having. Like, it really shows that we really are loving life, we're loving food, we're having fun making it, and that's what it's all about. Today we'll be making steamed bread, aka dumplings, aka what we call in Setswana, which is the language of Botswana, we call it Madombi. I know, it sounds so deep, Madombi. I wish I had like a really deep, dark voice for that one. Madombi. Anyway, whatever. A lot of you have been asking, how do you make Madombi? Okay, how do you make sure that in this traditional method of making bread with water, how do you make sure that the water doesn't get into the bread? How do you make sure the bread actually tastes good and develops that beautiful sticky skin on the outside? Well, today we're gonna do it together. We're gonna take it nice and slow. Once you have the technique down, I'm pretty sure you'll get it every other time, okay? But not everything in the kitchen not everything turns out okay sometimes, and you just kind of gotta be all right with it. You kind of make do, and then the next time you try it and it works, and that's a good thing, all right? So just keep the practice going, and you should be good. Now, let us strap on our kitchen confidence and get it popping. So let's walk through these ingredients. So we have 4 cups of cake flour. I really want this bread to be just soft and poofy little clouds of amazingness. So I'm using cake flour today. And then we have a little extra over here just in case the mix is a little too wet and we need to sort of stiffen it up. And then we've got 1 teaspoon of salt, 8 teaspoons of sugar in here with 400 milliliters of water. I'm letting that dissolve, and I'll explain why in a little while. So this is our bowl of working. The last time I tried to make Madombi, you guys, I don't even know if I should share that video with you. It was really crazy. What happened was, I didn't make the mix in a bowl. I made it on the table. And so I put the flour out, and when I poured the water on it, all of it just rushed off onto the floor, and it was a disaster. Cleaning that up was fun, to say the least. Let us forget that ever happened and move forward. So this is the bowl we're going to be working in. And then the main ingredient that is responsible for the softness and the poofiness, the raising agent, yeast. So let's walk through the first issue, and that is, how do you balance the salt and sugar? So what I use is a homemade oral rehydration little drink thing, right? So basically, when you've got a bit of a runny tummy, what you make in 2 liters of water is 1 teaspoon of salt and 8 teaspoons of sugar. You mix that around, you drink that all day, and that should sort of get you a little bit more solid again, right? And so what I did is I took that same measurement, but I'm using it for 1 kg of flour as opposed to 2 kgs of flour. Let us begin with putting our yeast into some water. What you should know is that yeast and warm water and sugar are the best of friends, you guys. We really want to get the most rising power out of this yeast, and so how we do that is we put it in the water first so we can wake up and just start to bubble and froth, and then there's going to be some sugar in there to give it all the energy it needs to do what it does, honey. So let's get that in there. Smells like beer. Don't worry, it looks kind of gross right now, but eventually it will come together. So let's set that aside, and in the meantime, let's get our flour into our bowl. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna salt our flour in this bowl, because yeast and salt aren't really very good friends. When we put it in this bowl with the flour, we're just buying some time so that the yeast do what it does. So let's give that a good mix around. Great. So now I'm gonna just sort of move some of the flour out of the way to make a nice big well where I'm gonna dump all of that nice water in. So now we've got all our flour mixed up, we've made our well. That yeast, honey, look at that. It is so gross. I love it. Let me tell you something. This is exactly what is going to give our bread that poofy puff that we're looking for, that poofy poof, baby. And then dump the whole lot into the center of our little well. I have some backup water over here, just in case, some of these measurements aren't really on the money. It's always best to just keep aside a little bit of flour and a little bit of water, just in case you need to balance everything out. Slowly, we mix the flour into this well. So keep throwing in a little bit of flour into the well. That is really coming together. I love doing this part with a spoon because sometimes I use my hand and it gets so stuck on my hands. It's just like the mix is getting heavier and heavier, but you just keep tossing that flour in and moving it around. All right, if the mix is looking a little too thick, feel free, put a little bit of water in and get back to mixing. Uh-oh, I think I might have put in a little too much water. Look at it, it's a little too crazy. That's okay, because I got my flour here. I feel like everything is just about combined. So now at this point, we're gonna start sort of kneading this flour. So with the hand mixing motion, you almost just kind of want to grab the sides, pull it in. You can even do it with your fist with that kind of motion. Could this be a dance move in life? No. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of flour out onto my surface, and then we're going to start kneading this baby. Whoosh. Now, kneading can be a little bit tricky because you want to knead the flour, activate the gluten, and get it to a point where it is elastic. But you don't want to go too hard because you run the risk of over-activating the gluten and then your bread can harden. I would say knead for about 4 to 5 minutes, just where you feel like the bread is soft and elastic. And that's just the confusing part about making bread, you guys. A lot of it is a feeling, so you kind of need to just connect with the dough and just feel it. Okay! What a workout, okay? You work out the calories, but then you go put them back on. Balance. Oh, this is so fun. It's soft! We're gonna put this in our bowl. So we're gonna cover this, and this is going to rise and double in size for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then we're gonna get to the cooking part.